Hey, everybody. I'm back. I've been away for a minute, but I wanted to come through and discuss with you my new theory. It may be an unpopular opinion, but hey, and this is all for entertainment purposes. And yeah, it's an unpopular opinion, but it's mine. So I just wanted to put it out there. So here it is. I believe the cookout is the microcosm of Black people in America. Why do I say that, you ask? Well, generally speaking, the dynamics of the personalities within the cookout can be compared to how Black people interact on a day to day life in the US of A. That being said, we have some archetypes of the cookout that kind of play into these interactions. One being we have Xavier. We're going to call him X. X is an alpha male. X is a former athlete. X is the palpable Black person in America. He is that guy who is the only Black guy in his crew. He's the athlete who is coveted by the other players because he's like one of maybe 10 other white guys and the only Black guy, or maybe one of two Black guys on the team. He's that get along Black guy who might put on a cheerleader outfit. He is an athlete turned attorney. Like, he went to law school. Kudos to him. He's that guy who's going to be the only Black guy who goes to Top Golf and has beers with the guys, with the fellas. Then he's going to go home. He's very disciplined. He's very even keel. He's a Taurus like me, so I know that he can ignite when needed or when pushed, because Taurus is we build up, let it slide. I'm gonna let that slide. I'm gonna let that slide till we explode like the Hulk. So, and I'm seeing that that's kind of what X is. He's that guy in the house who he didn't come from the nuclear family where the both biological parents live in a household. In fact, he says he has 10 siblings and they all have different parents. None of them have the same two parents. So he's from, if you will, a broken home, but he's the guy who made it out and he made good. And he's going to carve out this life for himself where he's going to have this steady, stable life, because he is a Taurus and Tauruses really need stability. So, and you can see that that's how he is. He's a stable person, very even keel in the house. And he's deemed himself the leader of the cookout, and he has fallen, and people have fallen in line with that belief because people run and tell him, like Hannah runs and tells him everything. Big D tells him some things. Aza runs and tells him everything because she has a middle school crush on him. That's totally embarrassing. But X is the unofficial leader of the cookout, right? He's an alpha male leader of the cookout. So then, moving right along, we have Miss Tiffany. Tiffany is an alpha female. Tiffany is a single mother, phlebotomy mobile business owner in Detroit, Michigan, from the suburbs, actually, Southfield. So everybody keeps calling her hood. And she lives in Birmingham, Michigan, which is one of the better suburbs, the one with the cute stores and cute boutiques and the expensive homes. That's where Tiffany resides. So let's hold off on calling her hood, just because her speech is flat and she'll get in your face and tell you off. But Tiffany is basically, she's a triggering point for Black men. Black men on the vlogs have been going in on her for weeks now. And it's very disturbing to watch, because on one hand, they want anyone Black to win, but Tiffany, because Tiffany, I believe, represents everything that they hate in Black women, everything they hate in their mothers, everything they hate in the first Black woman that they dated. She represents an assertiveness, someone who's not going to fall in line with your plan. She's going to do her own thing, and she might say it in a way that you don't like. So she represents that. And so, as we see in the game, Tiffany has deemed herself the leader of herself. And she constantly says if it wasn't for her loyalty to the six, she would have been playing a totally different game. That may be. And Tiffany has also said in the house recent days that in dating, she's never known how to turn off that bossiness. But she realizes she knows who she is. She's very self aware that she is bossy, but she's a boss. It's like she runs her own business. So, and for many black women, it's hard to turn that off because when you have been taking care of your family, and in the past, black women had to take care of other people's families. So when you come home, it's hard to play that submissive role that many men want you to play simply because of the Adam and Eve story that the man is the leader and women are here for the men. So, and this is not me being feminist at all. This is just me calling it, saying it for what it is. Men want to be the leader, and black women have been leading their families for years. So it's hard for me to, like, a man steps in, I'm just going to let you lead blindly. It's just not going to happen, especially when I've been doing fine all along. But these are the dynamics in the house. Then we have Kylan. Kylan, West Coast Kylan. Kylan is of mixed heritage. His mother is Mexican, his father is black. He lives in California. That kind of says it all. He is what I would deem the we are the world black guy. He doesn't necessarily live and move in black spaces, but because of his skin tone, he can't deny his blackness, although he denies his blackness. But in this house, it's all about the six black people getting to the end. But Kylan is someone, and this has nothing to do with a black archetype or anything. This just has to do with my observation of Kylan. And then this was a video of him kind of just like at the forefront of some sort of rally, and he's holding the American flag. So we see where his mindset is right there. It's all about American. It's not about being black or white. It's about being American with Kylan. And it's obvious because people are beneath him that he wants to be the leader. And that's what's going on in the house. Kylan wants to be the leader, but with his elusive speech and his long-windedness, people are not falling for what he has to say. People are exhausted because he does not know how to communicate in a concise way. So people aren't going to listen to you because you speak lofty, Kylan. And so that moves us on to, and look at Kylan in this space. So that moves on to Azza. Azza is an interesting one because Azza is, in the truest sense of the word, the truest African American because she is first generation. She's first generation from Cameroon. So I would almost say that Azza doesn't understand the full extent of African American culture. I'm sorry, my dog is here and I whacked her. So, but Azza, she's educated, well-traveled, and professional. She's somebody I would call that YOLO girl. She's 30 years old. She speaks matter-of-factly as if what she's saying is truth. And so many times on the feeds, I just want to go through the camera and like, look, Azza, you're wrong. You don't know about how slavery went in Florida. You don't know what the Bahamians' experience in the diaspora was. You're telling these people wrong stories. Or just yesterday, she was trying to school Hannah on 90s TV shows with Martin, A Different World, and Living Single. And she said, Kim Richards was on Living Single. And she's hilarious. And I'm like, Kim Richards was on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, first of all. And she was on a sitcom in the 80s, a short-lived sitcom called Hello, Larry. Kim Fields was on Living Single, Azza. So get your facts straight before you try to talk to Hannah in a condescending way. Basically saying, Hannah, you're not black enough. So I'm about to school you on being black. The stuff that you learned the stuff that you like now is because of these shows. But the stuff that you like, Azza, is because of other shows in the past, like Facts of Life, which Kim Fields was on. And actually, before Facts of Life, Kim Fields was on Good Times. And before Good Times, Kim Fields was on Baby I'm Back with Lamont from Sanford and Son. But you didn't know that. But yeah, you're trying to school people on black television, Azza. But that's a whole nother story and a whole nother video that we can go off on a tangent on. But Azza And Aza is throwing herself at X in the house, the alpha male, the chocolatey bald man with smooth skin. That's who she's throwing herself at. And he has no interest in her. So it's embarrassing because it's just humiliating for me at this point to see her continuously to throw herself at X. But Aza, as a dark skinned black woman, she has had to she can understand that experience of a black dark skinned woman in America because she's lived it. But her experience is slightly different because she is not an ADOS black woman, a descendant of a slave. So in this house, we have these dynamics. Then we have Big D. And Big D it's kind of clear what his thing is. Big D is a black gay male. His father was Smoking Joe Frazier. So I'm assuming just from some pictures with Big D that I saw, and I didn't put it in this show, the slideshow. Big D was in a military outfit, posed with his father, Smoking Joe Frazier. So I'm assuming Big D, for a bulk of his life, had to play this role like, I am not gay. He wasn't living his truth because he's playing this ROTC guy when inside he's this RuPaul Drag Race type guy or this flaming guy who wants to express himself and he loves men. So, but we have Big D interacting with Tiffany in the house and they instantly butt heads because Big D's like, I'm from the hood, she's from the hood, I know bitches like her, which he put her in a category. She reminds me of my mother. See what I mentioned before, this angst that black men have towards their mothers, because basically your mother has been the one to tell you what to do and you didn't like the way she said it. So Big D has angst with Tiffany. They've butted heads, they've had fallouts in this house. So these dynamics are why I ponder, can they actually make it to a final six? Because now we see that the men want to get rid of Tiffany sooner or later. They want to save Alyssa, who is Puerto Rican. Mind you, it's funny, they did not include Melissa in the six because she is Puerto Rican. Now she could come back and say, I'm like 1% black. But if Alyssa was in Puerto Rico on their census, and mind you, I just got back from Puerto Rico, so I kind of observe these things. On their census, Alyssa would check off the white box, but yet Alyssa has told Claire that she's the only white person left in the house. So she clearly doesn't identify with being white, but she lives in white spaces. All you gotta do is go to people's Instagram. You can see what their life, you can see a snapshot of their lives, whether it's the happy side or the real side. You can see a snapshot of who these people are. So the cookout is disturbing to me because I just don't like what's going on internally. And when it does get down to the final six, what's really going to happen in this house? What is CBS really going to capture? I hope they can all keep it above board because I get tense when I see what might really go down in this house. Will Big D start lashing out at Tiffany even more? And will Tiffany start lashing out at the guys? Like, I just hope. And let me not forget, I'm going to mention Hannah. Hannah seen here in the house, she's all covered up, and this is one of her Instagram pictures. She only has one up, and she said the one time she lets herself pop out at Coachella. And it's funny that Hannah was not a part of the original six because Aza has been quoted as saying that she didn't believe Hannah was truly black, which is ridiculous because Hannah's mom is South African and her father is East Indian. I'm not sure if he is East Indian from India or he was one of the Indians if he grew up in Africa. I don't know the history. But the funny thing is, black is a social construct. So if you look at Hannah's father, he's as brown as I am, or maybe even more brown. But yet he's not considered black because he has a country, a culture to attach to it. So Ozzy didn't consider Hannah a part of the cookout because of her mixed heritage, whereas Kylan was included. So you see all of these different idiosyncrasies within this clique, this group that is a conflict that can cause conflict, that has caused conflict because, and then we have seen how Tiffany has taken Hannah under her wing because she says, well, it's like Oz is not on board with this game